All right, so this 15-year-old cask strength sherry bomb needs to be on your radar. I'm Jeff. This is G Whiskey. Stick around. Okay, so I'm not going to keep you in the dark. The whiskey that I'm drinking today is Glengarry 15. This is a bottle I've had before, but it was like 10 years ago. And for the last decade, I have not been able to find it again. It did recently reappear in one shop and then disappear again. And apparently that's the case in quite a few markets. This one it can be tough to find. This one's not part of their core range. If you check the website, you'll see their 12-year-old, the Founder's Reserve, and a bunch of vintages. No mention of the 15. It's officially travel retail, but I don't think I've seen it at the airport. And every time I've bought it, it's been at a local shop. This is available in certain markets in Europe, but even then it's sparse. So again, I'm not too sure about availability here. Anyway, I've got it now. Like I said, I did have one bottle back in the day, and I do remember liking it. I remember liking it more than the 12, which to be fair is not that hard. The 12 is one of those whiskeys, it's an enthusiast darling, and I've never really connected with it. That one is a lot of people's go-to sherry 12-year-old. Like I said, it's core range, and a lot of people are really on board with it. And for me, I've had it a few times, and it's always fine. But the 15-year-old should be more my cup of tea. It's a few years older. This one is sherried. In fact, it's 100% Oloroso sherry matured. What else? We have a higher ABV. And for people who can get their hands on it, they seem to like it. It's a very well-reviewed whiskey. So my hopes are high, but like I said, it's been a long time and a lot changes in 10 years. I've changed, whiskey changes. So let's see where we land on this today. Let's jump into our review. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. This one comes in at 53.7%. I believe it's unchill filtered. As far as color is concerned, I don't know because they don't tell us. Now, Glengarry is owned by Beam Suntory. Typically, Beam Suntory does color their whiskeys. They own other brands like Lafroig, Bowmore, and Auchentoshan. So I'm going to assume that this one is colored, but don't hold me to that. For presentation, as far as I'm concerned, the look is meh. It does have an old school look, and I don't mind an old school look, but this particular aesthetic never really worked for me, the Glengarry aesthetic. I do like the squat bottles. They stand up better. They don't fall over as easily, but for looks, we'll give this 2 out of 5. On the nose, we get loads of sherry up front. This is sweet and spicy. It's got a bit of an herbal vegetal twist to it. It's also kind of old and musty and dusty. Think leather-bound books, he said poetically. But yeah, a good dose of leather in here. There's some tobacco. There's dark berry jam in here. There's marmalade. There's Lyle's golden syrup. There's a touch of cinnamon. And we get a dark chocolate bar with little bits of chili in it. On the palate and finish, this is heavy and rich sherry. It's very lush. Again, quite spicy. We get sweet red fruits, sweet dark fruits. We get mulled wine with that sort of fruity cinnamon thing going on. And then it's got this weird, bitter, herbal, somewhat vegetal note that the closest that I can do is artichokes. And I know how weird that sounds. Finally, we get a long finish with more leather, black licorice, gingerbread, orange rind, dark chocolate, touches of sulfur, and some oak spice. All right, so this stuff is very good. It's well sherried, and it's nice to have a 15-year-old sherried whiskey that has this level of intensity. The ABV does a great job of cranking up those flavors, and it's interesting. Now, obviously, with 100% Oloroso sherry cask maturation, you need to be prepared for a pretty heavy dose of sherry. Personally, I'm not always a huge fan of over-the-top sherry cask influence, but luckily this one is not too sweet, and there are a few tweaks here that make it interesting. And I think that uniqueness does come from the distillate. So the sherry casks, while very active here, did not rob the whiskey of its character. This is basically unlike any other whiskey I know. This does have commonalities with the 12, which, as I said, is not my favorite whiskey. I don't love it, but I do think this one is better. What ties both together is what I consider to be the Glengarry signature, which is that kind of like a vegetal herbal note. It is a somewhat bitter note. It counterbalances a lot of the sweetness from the sherry, and there's no other way to put this. It's kind of weird. I don't think I've ever used artichokes as a tasting note when describing a whiskey because what? And listen, I know whiskey's full of weird, kind of stupid tasting notes. People say Lafroig tastes like Band-Aids and medicine cabinets. How many people out there are eating medicine cabinets? Like, I could count on one hand the number of medicine cabinets I've eaten in my life. It's 5. And to be fair, at least artichokes are a food. Just in today's video, I mentioned stuff like dusty leather-bound books. It's all nonsense. And I know scent is tied into taste, and we go with whatever sensation we feel best describes the whiskey, and yeah, fine, that's what we do, but where was I going with this? Yeah, artichokes are weird. Like, if you told me you had a whiskey with black licorice and artichokes, which both of those are food, but not foods that I love, and also dusty old leather-bound books, A, I wouldn't believe you, and B, I would not want that whiskey. However, I think you should try this whiskey. I think those notes are different and interesting. They give it a twist, and I enjoy them because I think they work well with the whiskey. Now, because they are different, I'm focusing a lot on them. I'm making them sound much more prominent than they are. They are part of this whiskey, but rest assured, the profile itself is all about the sherry. And it's a very nice sherry. It's a classic sherry. It's a little bit rugged. We get mulled wine and chocolate and spices with like cinnamon in there. We get leather. It's musty. It's dusty. The cask influence itself has its own unique spin. And altogether, this is just different from other things. And listen, I know it sounds like I'm just glazing this whiskey and I'm totally in love. I'm not in love with this one. I like it a lot. Being very unique does not equate to being something that I think is fantastic. I think it's very good and I appreciate that it goes in its own direction. But that said, I think a lot of you out there are going to lose your minds for this one because it does have that certain something special. It's got style. It's got aura. I don't even know what that means. That's stupid. Point is, if you're getting tired of the over-engineered, overly sweet, all cask, no character style of sherried whiskeys that we do get a lot of nowadays, this is a great alternative, and maybe you'll be like me and you might not fall absolutely in love, but at the very least, you're probably going to respect just how singular this stuff is. Scores 86. Now, before we hit on value, I do want to say a quick thank you to all my channel members and all my patrons. Guys, thank you very much for the support, and if you want to help out, I've got Patreon and PayPal linked down below. Every little bit helps. And yeah, let's see if this one's worth the money. Value for this is good. We're getting a good age statement, a high ABV, a unique experience, and I enjoy the flavors. I don't know that this is something that I'll always want to have around, but I will be happy to come back to it every so often. It is a mood whiskey. Here in my market, it costs about 77 US, roughly 60 pounds. It's likely going to be more in other markets, but I don't think it's going to break the bank. And again, when you consider the age, the ABV, it's a good deal. It's recommended. All right, that brings us to the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I want to hear from you. So have you tried Glengarry 15? Where did you buy it? Did you buy it at an airport? Did you buy it at a shop? What countries sell it? Which countries don't? You can let me know all that down below. Also down below, you can let me know what you want to see me review down the line, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.